It's a tough pill to swallow, but chances are you are not going to make it. Whatever goal you have in mind, however rich you want to be, you most likely will not get there. And again, this is just be me being realistic. There's maybe, I don't know, 500 people who watch this video, maybe 1,000, right? If it's a decent performing video on my shitty ass YouTube channel. But out of you 500 or even 1,000 people, right? If you put you all in a room and you had to guess like how many of these people are gonna make 100 grand a month in their lifetime. Even this is not even me saying by the time that they're 18 or 19, or like I got there at 20 years old, so at 20, no, like in a lifetime, out of the 500 people who watch this video, let's say this is an average performing video for me, how many of you are going to hit 100K a month? And the answer is probably fucking zero, to be honest. Maybe one, right? Maybe one, maybe two, right? But realistically, you watching this video right now, you're probably not gonna make it. And so now I've spent a minute basically telling you you ain't shit and that you're not gonna make it. So let me get to the actual point of the video now, where I actually provide my value. And so as somebody who has hit that 100K a month profit number at 20 years old, who has spent, years working towards it, I've talked to a lot of people who want to get to that goal. I've talked to a lot of people who are at that goal. I've talked to a lot of people who, say they want to be there, but don't really do anything. And I've talked to a lot of people who work really hard, but also like don't really care too much. I've met everybody. I've talked to everybody in different situations and scenarios. And here's what I basically have, made as my conclusion that I honestly am pretty set on. And it's the fact that I just don't think it's possible for everybody. Not in the sense of like, oh, you gotta get lucky and, you gotta do this and have like a crazy idea, which isn't possible for everybody because some people get super lucky. No, it's actually really simple to make 10, 100,000 even. It's very fucking simple to make 100 grand a month. You need to sell something to somebody and solve a decent sized problem that a lot of people have. And if you get attention towards that solution and the solution isn't shit, you'll make that money, right? So for example, how I made my first like $30,000 a month at 19 years old was running a remote service business. My solution that I would basically provide was plumbing work, okay? I didn't know shit about plumbing, but the other solution that I could provide is I know there's a shit ton of plumbers who don't get jobs, right? So I'd get the customer, I'd get the plumber, and I'd take a 40% commission off of each job, right? And all I was doing is very simple. I was solving a problem and I was getting attention to the fact that, hey, I can solve this problem by listing myself on Google. That's how I got attention. Plumbers needed work, I sent them out and I took 40%, right? And so if I'm doing 5 plumbing jobs a day and each one's making me $300, there you go, right? That's my 30K per month in profit on average. Obviously those numbers didn't math, but that's how much I kind of got up to when I was 19 years old. And then again, another problem, like I got good at making money. I started making YouTube videos on it, and I've helped a lot of other people make money, and now they pay me for that, right? Doing the exact same thing. People pay me to set their business profiles up on Google, for me to help them set up everything as far as like finding a contractor to work with, basically helping them do the same thing I did, right? And again, there's a lot of people who don't make a lot of money and they want to make more, and so they pay me, right? There's a lot of contractors who want to expand their business and they pay me for this, right? And the work to do all this stuff isn't that hard. You working a 9 to 5, even a McDonald's shift, an 8-hour McDonald's shift is harder than what I do. I work from home, right? I just have to talk to some people here and there and sit at my computer and whatnot. Your McDonald's shift is way fucking harder. However, the problem isn't in the actual work being hard, right? Or very difficult or very luck based, because anybody can do what I do. It's the fact that if you genuinely just don't really want it, then you won't do it, because it's hard to leave a situation where you're comfortable and complacent and have been for a while. And so if you've been told your whole life that going to school and graduating and getting a job is the way to go, and if you have been working a 9 to 5 or any job and you know that X amount of hours is guaranteed X paycheck and that paycheck satisfies your needs, you're happy. You have absolutely no reason to change, and you won't, right? Because the hard part is the discomfort of doing something new and not knowing how it's going to pan out and whether it's actually going to get you the results that you want out of it. It's very easy to go to a job, even though if the manual labor part of it is hard, it's very easy knowing that, hey, I'm going to clock in and I'm going to get paid this amount, right? And so it's the uncertainty, and the situation that you're in has to be, you kind of just have to not like it to the point where doing the work and feeling that uncertainty and the pain and kind of discomfort of doing something new is easier than staying in that current position that you're in, which for a lot of people it's not, right? If your bills are paid, you have a loving family, everything is great. And obviously nothing is always great for anybody, but things are good enough for you to not really have to put hours into something and stress and not know if it's gonna work and all the bullshit that comes with starting a business and growing it. Again, it's not that it's hard work, although it is of course that as well, but it's more so the mental sort of aspect of like, hey, I don't know if this is gonna work, and I'm comfortable with the way I am right now. And so not every single person feels that discomfort. If you genuinely do not want it, then there's gonna be nothing that pushes you to do hours of work that you don't know if is gonna pay off, that sucks, that is stressful, right? Nobody in their right mind would just do that for fun. So you need to not be happy with your situation, whether that's your financial situation, whether that is, it could really be anything, right? You could just hate yourself and be super insecure and that'll push you, right? Or you could just be dead broke and you're just like, I don't want to fucking live like this anymore. Right? It could be anything, but it needs to outweigh the hardness of doing the things you need to get there, which is pretty fucking hard, right? Especially, like I said, the uncertainty of it is pretty fucking hard, but not everybody has that, right? And the reason I even make this video is because I was talking to one of my friends who makes around $150K a month, $150,000 a month at 18 years old. And he works a couple hours a day. And he messaged me and he asked me like, yo, like I'm doing really good. I'm making $150K a month, but I want to work, I want to work 12 hours a day, right? Because then I can make more. And then I'm like, okay, cool. Well, like, do you really care to make more money? Like, are you happy with the amount of money you make? Yeah, bro, I could do whatever I want. I don't really care. I live a stress-free life. Okay, well, you're not gonna fucking want to scale to $300,000 a month because you're comfortable, right? If you're comfortable the way you are and you work 4 hours a day and all your necessary needs are covered, then why? Like, why even? It's like, well, yeah, but I just want to progress. Well, I understand that, but is that progression really worth it for you at this point? Because now you're gonna have to risk tens of thousands of dollars to get to the next point. You're gonna have to work a lot harder, and you're gonna have to do a lot more things. And you either want it or you don't. And it's fully normal to not want to fucking grind for 16 hours a day when you work for 4 hours a day and you have all the money in the world. Like, you literally at $150K a month in profit. What can you not do, right? Just the extreme stuff. You could pretty much do anything. You can do anything, right? And if you have nothing pushing you past that point, then you'll have nothing that's gonna force you to do the work to get there. And I feel this too, right? Like, I've been kind of stagnant at a point of maybe like doing around 100 to 130K a month for 6 months now. I know at some point I'm gonna be like, yeah, I can't tolerate this anymore. But every time I've really kind of thought about it and was like, fuck, I need to push for 200, 300. I just realized, like, to be honest, like, I just don't really give a fuck enough. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and at least I'm open about it, right? At least I'm like, I acknowledge it, but I can be in acknowledgement of the fact that, like, hey, I just don't really give a fuck. And for some people that threshold is a lot earlier, and for most people that threshold will be a lot earlier. And so you need to tell yourself, like, how much do you actually care about this? And I'll tell you how you know how much you care, right? If making money or starting a business or doing something meaningful is the first thing that you kind of wake up thinking about, it's like your life's sort of mission. It needs to be the number one thing that you think about and care about in your life. If it's like, yeah, well, I gotta make sure my gym and my meal preps are done and then I can focus on my business, then it's not gonna happen, right? If you're thinking like, yeah, I gotta finish all my college courses and whatnot, and I need to have some balance and go out on the weekend, it's not gonna happen, right? So out of the 500 people of you watching right now, most of you are like that. And if you aren't, right, if you are watching this and you happen to be that maybe 0.1% of people who live and dream and breathe success, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, making money or just getting rich and whatever. I just sound corny saying it, but if that's what you live and breathe and wake up every morning and work towards every single day, and that's what you care about, that's the number one priority and thought of your mind in your life every single day, day in and day out, and you actively work hard towards it, and you actively feel guilt and shame when you think you could have done more, then you will get to that point. And if you hate yourself so much, or you just hate your position so much that you do all these things that you need to get there, and you know you're putting in the effort that you know you need to put in, then you, out of the 500 people watching, if that resonates with you, you probably will make it. Because I have friends who are half and half there. They're like, oh yeah, I want to self-improve and make money, but then at the same time they're kind of going out all the time and just like doing like, you know, just degenerate stuff. And it's like, yeah, man, like you work a little bit harder than the average person, but you're not gonna fucking become a millionaire doing this shit. Like you need to lock in. You need to lock in a lot fucking harder than that, right? You might get to 5, you might get to 10K a month, you might even get to 20K a month, but it's a different like level. You know, when you want to get past that, say 50, it gets pretty fucking hard. Like it's not, you know, disgustingly impossibly hard, but it's pretty fucking hard. You gotta lock in pretty hard, especially if you want to do it quick and early, right? Again, like for me, 20 years old, you know, I had to do what people wouldn't fucking do in a lifetime, right? Most people never get there. So by 20 years old, I had to do as much work as somebody would in a lifetime. And again, there's a lot of things that you're gonna have to leverage too if you're trying to get there younger. One thing being money. Like, people are pussies. People don't want to fucking risk anything. They don't want to invest in themselves. So you being young, knowing like, hey, I want to make a shit ton of money young, right? I gotta fucking take some risks. I gotta take some investments. I gotta make some investments. I gotta bet on myself, and I gotta fucking put the effort in that nobody else will, right? Because again, you're trying to get to a goal that people don't accomplish in their whole lifetime of trying. But the only way you'll do that is if you wake up and you live it and you breathe it, and it's the first thing that comes to your mind, and you're willing to risk it all, and you're willing to just do it for the love of the fucking game, right? Because you want to get out of your situation, because you really fucking want it, then you will get it. But if you just don't want it, you can't really, you know, you could try forcing yourself to want it. You can, I don't know, kick yourself out of your house and become homeless, which is actually a good thing to do. Like, a lot of people would be like, oh, you gotta buy an expensive car you can't afford, so it motivates you to work harder. You gotta like really fucking just not be happy in your situation, right? That's the only thing that can happen. And whether you want to purposely inflict trauma, right, date a whore who's gonna cheat on you or something, whatever the fuck, do it. Like, hey, do it. Because if you don't have that just built in you, and you don't have that naturally, it's gonna be pretty fucking hard to want to escape a situation where everybody else is, you know, you fit in and you're kind of complacent. Because when you fit in, you are complacent, right? So you do need to do kind of almost extreme things if you want extreme outcomes. That's just the way it is. And so, yeah, I mean, if you don't want it, you're not gonna make it. And out of, you know, the thousands of people who exist, or I guess not thousands, there's a lot more than thousands of people who exist, billions of people who exist, not everybody fucking wants it, right? So that's why not everybody gets there. It's just plain and simple. And so you're probably one of the people who doesn't fucking want it. And at this rate, at this pace, you will not make it. Now, that's not me saying that something might not change, right? Because it might. Right? At some point, I didn't really fucking want it, but then I did. And so that's again, not me saying, you know, it's impossible, but that is also me saying it's kind of out of your own hope, right? You can actively try and do things. And again, like I'm kind of like, I don't know if it's lucky, it's probably unlucky to be honest, but I feel like I kind of got a little bit lucky because I just naturally, just based on things that I've kind of gone through, was like just not happy with my situation, always, to the point where it pushed me to fucking work hard. And like, I did it because I liked like struggle, like, anyways, right? But for some people, it's like, I'm jolly and happy, and, you know, I'm in my uni classes, and I, you know, go and party every weekend, and it's a good life. And if it is, then, you know, you have a good life. There's nothing wrong with that, but you're not gonna make it. I'm just being honest with you at the same time. But, right, something might happen and your whole life's trajectory might change. And that's by the grace of whatever the fuck you want to believe in. I honestly can't say that I believe in anything specific, but that's basically just where I stand on this. And yeah, I mean, hopefully if you're watching this, you can kind of understand that you might want to try actively push yourself into a position where you actually are forced to want it. But if you're not, then it will never happen. So that's basically the end of this video. I appreciate you guys all for watching. If you liked it, then like, subscribe, and just go through my channel if you're interested to learn more about my business, how I make money. And yeah, I'll see you guys all in the next video. Thanks for watching.